Hello, this is a very brief overview, and this will get you started on the right track, okay? Your writing is good, you have some great ideas, but what we need to do is to narrow your focus. Here's how you need to narrow your focus. Please do not write a paper about drug and alcohol abuse or crime and violence or bullying. These are thought prompts. They are not sufficient for a topic. They're not sufficiently narrow. We are describing a social process here, not writing a reaction paper, a paper about how we feel about a topic, an opinion piece. These are not, there are specific times when those kinds of papers are appropriate and your writing is good. So let's take that excellent writing and transfer it to the context that we need to do here. This is a research paper. So I'm going to tell you right now what you need to go down here. Go back to the first module. Click on Final Project Guidelines and Rubric. This is a beginning. This is a prompt, not a final landing place for a topic. Many people stop here. Don't make this mistake. If I've told you to redo something or to narrow your focus, this is what I'm talking about. Okay, there's a library. Go down to this supporting resource list at the bottom of the screen here. Click on that. Scan down. Read through this material, okay? If you say, I want to write about bullying, it's something that's happened forever. No, you will not. You'll get a bad grade for that. You need to narrow your focus. Are we talking about bullying in a school, bullying in the workplace, or bullying online? A lot of folks have written about crime and violence, and they've started writing me about their situation. That's fine. That's a good introduction, but that's not sufficient for this kind of a paper. Narrow your focus. Is it gang-related crime? Is it white-collar crime? Is it hate crime? Is it crime of specific, urban crime? Is it crime in impoverished areas? Narrow your focus. Narrow your focus. Please narrow your focus. Okay. Again, people are starting to submit papers on drug and alcohol abuse. That is not a topic. It is a thought prompt. So go down here and you want to write. About. Many people have written excellent papers. They start off too broad. You can write about addiction, about the lack of resources for treating it, marijuana legalization, prescription drug abuse, the opioid epidemic. All of these are legitimate topics. You have to narrow your focus. I don't need a broad history of drug and alcohol abuse. That's not the kind of paper this is. As we get into this paper, as we get into the topic, you're identifying a social process. In other words, something, a thing happens and then another thing happens. For example, in places where there's large-scale poverty, there's a certain amount of social disorganization. What does that mean? Well, most people who are poor are not criminals. However, people who tend to be criminals tend to live in poor areas. Do you see how one thing affects the other? Right? Or online bullying. Most people who are online are not bullies, but if a person is, because of the anonymity of the web and the public nature of it, a person who's prone to bully can get away with more than they would otherwise. Okay, that's a process, and you need to identify the elements of the process and really zero in. If I've told you to narrow, you need to do that. Don't turn in the same thing and not watch this and not respond to the information that I provide you, please. Okay, thank you. I'm sure you're going to do excellent work. Please follow any feedback that I've told you. All right?